markets are brilliant. They are very, very good. They're the most effective tool we have as sort of a decentralized intelligence right now. But they still ultimately, you know, by design, they will externalize whatever harms and costs to the future or onto like the wider environment that they can get away with. Mm-hmm. Because right now markets don't actually capture, you know, like when you take the price of lumber. So, this tree is worth that much in terms of lumber. What about the other values the tree has? It stabilizes the soil so that, you know, if you cut all this forest down, the soil's going to run off. And now you're going to have like hillside collapses or whatever. Or like the CO2 oxygen exchange, the biodiversity, like the nutrients in the soil. There are all these other values that are embaked within a tree, but market prices fail to capture. Mm-hmm. And so that's where you end up with all these like externalization factors. Mm-hmm. And that's, you know, I still describe myself as a capitalist because it's by far a better system than anything we've had before. But anyone who's pretending that it's perfect or that it's going to magically solve everything, I'm sorry, I think that's incredibly naive because we've just been like palming off more and more costs to the future. And at some point, those will rack up to a point where we can't get past them, which is, by the way, the argument then a lot of like let's go as fast as possible with, you know, building superintelligence people make. And I can understand their argument a little bit because they're like, we're facing so many like mounting crises that are going to hit us all at once. We're going to need something magical to get us through it. And that's their argument for like superintelligence. But I don't know, that itself can be, you know, there's many ways that can be damaging. And also the sort of shocks along the way that we're adding more and more like stresses to the system. Like you say, like the rapid job loss. Mm-hmm. I think AI can create new industries and new opportunities. Yes. So I think a lot of like the job loss you might see in the near term could be offset in the long term. But if you go so fast with one thing that you don't give all of the rest of infrastructure that holds civilization together a chance to keep up, like governance, like how to redistribute this wealth, all of these things. If you go so fast that they're not effective, your system collapses.
Yeah. Or there's revolution.
Exactly. Which is effective. That is a form of system collapse. Exactly. That people revolt.
Yeah.
And yeah, I feel like we're starting to see, you know, it's like the culture wars have almost shifted into a class war again.
Definitely. Well, I mean, they always were. It was just very well hidden.
Yes.
And I think it's become clear, and this is what I was saying even on Dumpster Fire. I'm like, I don't trust any of these people. But like you said, it's if they can't make life better for the average American, it won't matter. There's this coalition of voters that moved right. They'll move left again. They're not like beholden to, they're not MAGA. You know, they just got a lot of people who were disenchanted with the left for reasons that have been gone over ad nauseum and they don't seem to learn from. And they were like, all right, you know, maybe this is the fuck it vote. I mean, this is what Michael Malice and I were talking about this. He says that I said this, and maybe I did, but I thought it was him. But he was saying, we were talking about Trump's, I was like, I don't know. I might just vote for him because fuck it. I did end up voting for him. And he's like, that should be if I was his campaign manager, that would be his slogan. But I do think that was, I kind of like, I feel like I'm a weather vane for normies. I just can sense where they're going. And I think a lot of people clearly went in that direction. That doesn't mean that if life gets worse for them and they're just, you know, all getting richer and richer and richer and people are not able to get houses and all these problems that we have, they'll just turn again. I don't think it's a stable coalition of voters at all.
No, agreed. I mean, and that was also what happened in the UK as well. People had the Tories for however many years, and yes, they inherited a problem, but they made it so much worse. And they've gone and voted in the Labour government, who I think are going to make things even worse. But I understand why they did, because they're just like, well, these guys are idiots. And it's just that, like, I can't tell whether it's technology has brought to the fore the level of institutional rot that's always been there, or has technology itself sort of accelerated the problem, like, you know, the nature of the rot. probably a bit of both.